Howdy-ho, neighbors. How the heck are you? Happy Wednesday. Can you believe it's been a whole damn week since my last vlog last Wednesday? Well, it has, and I am very unprepared for this vlog, I must be honest with you. Today we're going to share my blood results with you, my glucose numbers. Where are they? We're going to share my weight with you. How am I doing on my weight? But before we get into that, I just wanted to give the people that are just now joining. I've had a lot of subscribers the last couple of vlogs, and I just want to say welcome, first of all. And I know if you're like me, you didn't go back to watch the beginning where I started off with vlog number 1 to figure out where I am now. So I'm just going to catch you up just a little bit. About a year ago, June, I weighed 250 pounds. I was overweight massively, and I was a drinker. A heavy drinker, 3 or 4 nights a week, and at least 2 or 3 of those nights I'd get to the point where I was officially drunk. So you could say, and you would be correct in saying, that I was an alcoholic, right? So the situation is this, y'all. I woke up a year ago, June, hungover like you wouldn't believe. Hungover, fat, not feeling good. It was hot that morning in my room and I was all sweaty. I was miserable. And I said to myself, this is it. I am done drinking. This is it. Final time. I'm done drinking. I'm not going to drink anymore, right? And by the grace of God, it's stuck, right? I quit drinking and I haven't looked back since a year ago last June as far as alcohol goes. I haven't had a drop. Was it easy? Absolutely not. It was the hardest thing probably I've ever done in my life, was the quitting drinking thing. Besides maybe quitting smoking. I quit smoking too about 4 or 5 years ago. I couldn't imagine trying to do all these lifestyle changes all at once, like a lot of people are doing. I'm watching a couple of vlogs on YouTube, and these people they're getting ready to get healthy again, and I'm really excited for them. But I do fear that they're biting off more than they can chew, because they're changing everything about their lives all at once. And man, that's a lot. Just quitting smoking for me was everything I could handle. And then just quitting drinking a year ago last June was everything I could handle. It took all my effort to do that, right? And in the process of that, I went from 250 pounds a year ago, June, I was down to 180, 190. And that's without any added exercise, no weight loss, drugs of any kind. I didn't up my exercise. I just kind of stayed the same sedentary guy that I was. I just quit drinking mostly. And that dropped me from 250 to 180, 190. Very exciting. I felt the best I've felt in years. And I was happy with that for a little while. And then I was like, you know what? I bet I could feel even better if I could get down to about 160 or 170. I bet I'd feel wonderful then. Even better than I do now. So I decided that I was going to go on a diet. And I tried that diet and failed that diet. So I tried another one and I failed that one. And then I tried something else, and that was a failure. I would I would lose like 5 or 6 pounds, and then I would fail my diet, get back onto regular eating, and then I would gain 7 or 8 pounds. And you rinse and repeat that a couple of diet times. I actually gained weight trying to lose weight, if you can believe it. When I was trying to put effort into it, I was actually gaining weight. Ridiculous. This is my life, though. This is how I live. So I decided that I was probably going to have to do something else about my weight loss, or just be happy at 180, 190. Well, I decided, I'm 60 years old. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be a fat grandfather. That's okay. Not fat, but chubby, right? Chubby. I'm a lot healthier than I was a year ago, June, when I was still drinking. And, I'm quite a few pounds lighter, like 60 pounds lighter, and I'm feeling better. So I didn't think much of it. And then one night I woke up, foot pain, not pain really, kinds of pins and needles in my feet, both feet. And it's neuropathy, and I knew what it was because my dad was a diabetic. So I called my doctor and I said, hey, look, I think I need to come in. I'm having some foot pain and stuff. So she set me up with a blood panel. Fast forward a couple of weeks, and she came back, called me and said, hey, Ben, we're going to have to put you on some diabetes medicine because you're very diabetic. Your A1C is 10.6, your blood glucose level is 475, and we can't have that because you're going to die with these kind of numbers eventually, and sooner rather than later. So I told her, I said, put me on whatever you think is best. And she said, do you want to take something daily or weekly? And I said, I'll take something weekly because I always forget to take my medicines and stuff. That's just who I am. So she gave me this stuff called Mounjaro, and it was an injectable. Now, most of you guys that are watching this know all about it, so I'm not going to go into a lot of details about it. I will go into this, though. I lost from 180, 190 pounds to last week I weighed 151 pounds, right? And that's below how much I really want to weigh. I was shooting for as low as I could get when I started, right? I didn't realize that it would actually work. I've never really been successful at losing weight like this, quite like this at all. So when I got down to 100, I actually dropped below 150, y'all. And for a guy, I'm 5'9", right? So 150, that may not seem to be too small, but it kind of is on my frame. It just looks kind of weird on me. And my wife thought it looked kind of funny too. And she actually likes a little bit more meat on my bones. So I told her I would try to get back up to 155, 160, 165 at the most, because that's where I felt probably the best on my way down weight-wise, right? That's where I was least concerned about anything. I felt the best. And that's probably where I'm going to be trying to get back to. Now, it's been a struggle. I've been off the Mounjaro now for almost 3 months, 2.5 months, come the end of this month. So I've been off of it for 2.5 months, but the stuff's still working like crazy, right? I was on it mostly for my diabetes, but the weight loss was amazing, right? I had to come off of it for 2 reasons. I felt like it was instigating my foot pain, right? Every time I would take an injection that night, I would have the worst pain of the week in my foot. So I kind of put 2 and 2 together, associated the Mounjaro shot with my newly developed neuropathy in my knee. And now I've had neuropathy. That's why I went to the doctor in the first place, for the pins and needles. But the neuropathy that I ended up developing is painful, burning neuropathy. Like, you can't put any pressure on your foot neuropathy. And my wife, sometimes she'll be massaging my foot, and there are times that she can't even touch my foot. It's so sensitive to even the touch. That's the neuropathy that I developed, right? And it was from this thing called TIND, treatment-induced neuropathy of diabetes, right? And what it is if you drop your A1C too fast, your nerves, right? They think that there's something going wrong in your body, and they're setting up their defenses and shutting down on their own, right? They're shutting certain areas down so they can conserve other areas. This is the way it was kind of explained to me. This is the way I understand it. So long story short is I quit the Mounjaro about two months ago. And I've been off of it ever since. In fact, I've not been on any weight loss medication or diabetes medication since then. My doctor is having me check my blood a couple of times a day, and then I average it at the end of the week. And when my blood glucose averages 140 or greater for at least 2 weeks in a row, she wants me to contact her, and we're going to go on another diabetes medication. But that hasn't been happening. I've kind of been fluctuating down here in the 130s for the last couple of weeks, for maybe 3 or 4 vlogs now. I'm happy to report that last week my blood sugar was 134, so I still have 6 points to go before I needed to start worrying about going back on a diabetes medication. This week though, you guys, it's 125. I know. I don't understand it at all. I don't understand, it's still diabetic. That number is still a diabetic number. But most diabetic people would love to have that number, right? 125, it's just barely above normal. In fact, some doctors won't even put you on, they don't even consider you diabetic until you're like 130, 140, right? So 125, that's incredible. So 2.5 months since I quit Mounjaro, my diabetes is still, I'm going to consider this under control, because my doctor did say 140 or above and we'd have to go back on something else. And it's done nothing but drop. In fact, since last week, it dropped 11 points since last week. I've not been doing anything real special other than I've been sticking to my eating stuff. I've been sticking to the no processed foods, no fast foods, right? Only good foods, only healthy foods, only whole foods, fruits and vegetables, stuff like that, right? Meat, beef, stuff like that. Nothing fast food though, no candies, no ice cream. I try to stay away from anything that's kind of fattening at all, right? And when I do get hungry, I will have a snack on occasion. My wife makes sure that there's celery sticks in there for me, cut up, and carrots. I couldn't do it without her really, because I'm really too lazy to do that kind of stuff on my own. But I know for you single guys out there that don't have a wonderful like I do, you can go out to the store and buy these things. The stores are starting to sell healthy foods, right? I saw it last time I went to the grocery store. I'm pretty happy about it. Anyway, so that's one thing. My blood sugar is well controlled, I think. Not well controlled, but decently controlled. Let's put it that way, right? Let's not exaggerate. It's decently controlled. 125 is not a bad number for a weekly average. And my weight last week was 151. It's a little bit lower than I wanted, right? I was kind of hoping to be about 155 by now. I've been trying to gain weight these last couple of vlogs because I actually lost too much. I actually stayed on the Mounjaro a little bit too long, and it took me below my goal weight and actually took me below my low end weight, which was 150. I actually got down to 149 point something. Crazy, man. I haven't weighed that little in so long. It was mind boggling. Last week I was back up to 151, and I'm hoping this week I'm up a little bit more. I will say that there's been a couple of things that I've noticed this last week with my appetite, and that is, it's increased a little bit, right? I was having a problem there finishing off my breakfast when I was making breakfast. I don't eat breakfast every morning, but when I do, I'll have like 2 eggs and maybe 2 pieces of bacon with it, maybe a sausage patty. 2 eggs and a meat is what I've been doing, right? And there at the beginning, I was having a hard time eating it all. I'd eat maybe 3/4 of my egg and maybe half of my meat. And this week, I found that I'm eating my entire breakfast, right? And still thinking maybe I might go back for seconds, but I wouldn't. Of course I wouldn't. That's outside of my new rule, my new rule box. I'm not gonna be going back for seconds, right? I'm not gonna be going back for seconds, and I'm not gonna be doubling my portions again either, right? I'm sticking with the small little portions that I've got now. My breakfast is probably my second biggest meal of the day with 2 eggs and a piece of meat. And when I do have lunch, if I don't skip breakfast, I'll have lunch. I mean, if I do skip breakfast, I'll have a lunch. And that lunch is normally a sandwich on like rye or something. Very, very low fat stuff, right? Just ham, maybe a slice of Swiss or something like that. And that's what I'll have, and that fills me up. And then dinner is whatever my wife decides to make. I eat everything for dinner. I don't restrict myself on dinner other than fast foods and garbage food. The other day we had spaghetti and meatballs. It was wonderful. I know people are out there being like, spaghetti and meatballs, that's a fat boy meal, man. What are you doing eating spaghetti and meatballs? It's only a fat boy meal if you eat it like I used to eat it, where you heap it on your plate and you put like 5 or 6 of those huge meatballs on there and you eat that whole damn thing and feel miserable the rest of the night. That's the way I used to roll. Now I put a little dab on there, right? A little bit. Like probably 1/4 of what I used to do. I use less sauce, and then I'll have 1 or 2 meatballs instead. And that's plenty, right? My new stomach, it's shrunk. And now I don't want to stretch it back out again, but that's plenty for me. And I can go to bed and not be hungry that night. So that's where I am right now. My weight last week was 151. I've been eating a little bit better. Like I said, I've been thinking about going back for seconds, but of course I haven't been. I'm keeping a close eye on it. Let's see what my weight is today. Let's get that out of the way. And then I got a confession to make to you guys. I gotta come clean. All right, you'll remember the weight last week was 151. And this week we gotta tap it, zero it out, and then get on. Okay, so for good luck. Heck yes. Heck yes. 151.8, y'all. I'm happy. I'm happy with that result. That's a 0.8 pound gain this week. Less than a pound, but that's exactly how I want to gain it, nice and slow. So when I get up there to my goal weight, which is between 155 and 165, I can slow it down and manage it properly, right? I don't want to overdo it and, and do the same thing I did on the way down and then slide right past my target. I want to get up slowly to my target and then maintain it, which means that these weigh-ins are going to be a thing that are going to occur every week, right? And I need to keep doing this vlog because the confession that I needed to make to you guys was I could be doing a lot better health-wise. I could be doing a lot better. The thing is I've been neglecting exercise, right? I know, you guys know, you've been watching me with my foot neuropathy. You know that there are days where I can't even walk on it. Well, that was true up until about 3 weeks ago. Honestly, about 3 weeks ago, I started noticing slight improvement. It still hurts every day. It still hurts, and sometimes it wakes me up at night. 2 or 3 times a week it'll wake me up at night. But it is much improved. It doesn't hurt near as much as it used to, and even when it is hurting, I can actually walk around on it now. And if I can walk around on it when it's hurting, that means I can also exercise, right? And I think with exercise, I'm going to see more improvements with my neuropathy, not just my neuropathy, but with my overall health and well-being, but especially with my neuropathy. I think that exercise is just what the doctor ordered on this. In fact, my neurologist said, do what I can when I can do it. And I've been using the excuse, oh, my foot, my neuropathy, right? I need to quit using those damn excuses and get off my fat butt, not so fat anymore, but get off my butt and get out there and get some exercise done. And then we're going to start that, right? I'm going to start that this weekend in the Black Hills of South Dakota. I'm going to start my walking routine up there. What a great place to start. I'm going to take you guys with me. In fact, I'll take you with me and I'll show you where I'm walking in the Black Hills of South Dakota next week. So make sure you subscribe to my vlog. And if you want to travel with us and see how we do stuff in the RV, you should subscribe to my wife's channel, Hanging with KH. There's a lot of stuff over there, a lot of short stuff with our dogs and stuff. And more of our grandkids are making their way to the page. So I'm watching it more and more. But we're also adding RV stuff, right? We're also adding our travels to her channel, right? What better place? So I guess that's my confession. I need to exercise more. And the reason that I'm putting it on this vlog is because this vlog here is designed to keep me honest with myself, right? It's to keep you guys looking at me and saying, hey, Ben, how much exercise did you get, right? How come you're gaining the weight back? How come you're doing, I needed some people to keep me straight, right? Left to my own devices, I can excuse my actions, right? I can excuse my own actions. I can justify things. But when I got people keeping me honest, I find that harder to do. And that's why you guys are here and watching. And that's why I love the comments that you guys make all the time. There's all kinds of tips in the comments of these videos. I've learned so much in the comments and really appreciate all the tips that are given. Some of them I've tried and they've worked, and some of them I've tried and they haven't. But like I always say, everybody's different. Not everything that works for me is going to work for you, and vice versa. If you go back and you look at this vlog, it kind of appears that it's easy. But I got to tell you that it's not easy, right? And if you're getting on the Mounjaro or any other GLP-1, thinking that you don't have to change your lifestyle in any way, you're just going to take this miracle drug and it's going to do all the work for you. And then at the end of the road that you're just going to come off of it and just be totally fine. Nothing could be further from the truth. And I'm not sure that you can stay on this stuff all your life, right? It goes up to 15 milligrams for now. They may increase that even more down the road. But what happens when you're on 15 milligrams and you become used to it, right? If you haven't lost all your weight by then, right? If you haven't gotten all the way down. Now, what happened to me is I was losing too much weight. I had to come off of it. I was getting way, way too underweighted, right? I know that sounds weird. I was fat before and now I was underweight, right? And it was because of the drug. I loved what it was doing for my diabetes. I didn't like what it was doing for my weight and I had to come off of it. So here I am. I'm trying to gain a little bit of my weight back. But what happens if it starts coming all back on, right? What happens then? That'll be my fault because I will not have changed my lifestyle enough to ensure that weight wouldn't return. Now, I've made some lifestyle changes, some big ones. I don't make them all at once, and I kind of alluded to it at the beginning of the thing that there are people out there that I watch that they get into this thing. I feel bad for them because I can see it happening right from the beginning. They're changing everything else about their life right now, right? They've decided enough is enough. They're waking up and they're changing everything. They're going to lose their weight. They're going to control their diabetes, right? Everything. They're going to get in shape. They're going to become muscular. They're going to be a weightlifter. They're going to become a runner, all kinds of crazy, crazy stuff that's very attainable. But when you try to change so many things all at once, chances of success are lower, right? So I started off with the quitting smoking thing. That was years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, I quit smoking. That was definitely probably one of the hardest things that I've ever done in my life. And it didn't take the first time. I actually tried to quit, starting about 10 years ago. When I finally did quit was about 4 years ago. So, and I tried to quit every year until it stuck about 4 years ago. The next huge lifestyle change was quitting drinking a year ago, June. That's all I did. I wasn't trying to lose weight. I just wanted to quit drinking, right? And again with the drinking, I tried quitting drinking before that many, many times. In fact, I tried quitting when my first baby was born, when my son was born. And that was I had just joined the Air Force. I'd probably been in the Air Force for about 4 years by that point. So that was a long, long time ago, you guys. That's when I first started trying to quit, and I was unable to. Finally, got it under control by the grace of God. Thank you, God, for helping me out with that, because I feel so much better that I was able to quit drinking. But that was the only thing that I was concentrating on for a whole year. Now, I do admit that it got easier. The first couple of weeks were tough, and the first couple of months were just as tough, but then things started getting easier, and I started thinking less and less of it. And now I can even go into a bar and sit down and with a friend that's drinking, and I have a glass of water. It's no problem at all. I have no desire whatsoever to drink, and I never will drink again. So there's that lifestyle change. But that only got me down to about 180 and 190, so I knew that there needed to be more lifestyle changes, right? And I knew that fast food was one of those lifestyle changes that I needed to make, because I was out there eating fast food on a pretty regular basis. I would be out doing something and I'd come home and be like, ooh, I'm kind of a little bit hungry. Maybe I'll stop by McDonald's and grab me just a cheeseburger, right? Just a cheeseburger, something small, right? Maybe a chocolate shake too while I'm at it, right? That kind of crap, right? So I quit all that, and now here I am, right? Do I miss the food? No, not at all. I don't miss it. In fact, the other day I was thinking about McDonald's, and it gave me a queasy feeling in my stomach just thinking about eating that food. So I've got a couple of more lifestyle changes to make in order to get this thing, where I want to get it. I'm where I want to be weight-wise almost. I want to gain a couple of pounds. That's not an issue. I'm where I want to be diabetes-wise. I'm not on a diabetic medicine and fairly well controlled right now with diet. And what little exercise I've done walking back and forth across the house, I think that those numbers are going to go down even further when I start doing a kind of a regimented exercise program where I'm out walking at least. That's what we're going to start with. I'm going to start small. And any lifestyle change that you're going to do, you should start small. I found you shouldn't jump into it with both feet right away and expect the best results, right? I'm going to dip my toe into it, start slow. I'm going to work my way up to it. So my first walks are probably going to be 5, 10, 15 minutes at the most, right? And I'm going to do that for 3 or 4 weeks, a month. And then I'm going to add time onto that, right? And then I'm going to add 5, 10 minutes onto that and try that for another month. See how that goes, right? Who knows? By the end of the year, by December, I may be up to 40, 50 minutes a day walking. I hope so anyway. What would be even better is if I could get this neuropathy to the point where I could run on this foot. I would really love to run again. There's a lot of people out there that are saying that I should start lifting weights too. And, I've been kind of considering getting kind of a cheapy, Craigslist type weight or Facebook Marketplace weight sets. People are forever selling them, and it's because they buy them and never use them, and then a couple of years later they sell them. And they're like new, right? It's been going on for years and years. And guys like me can get a good deal on it, right? So all I really need is a couple barbells maybe and maybe a straight bar. And I'll get started with some weightlifting as well. But like I said, it's a lifestyle change with the exercise. So let's start off slow. Let's start off this next month coming up. Let's just call September our first month with the exercise. I'm going to plan on doing 3 days a week, 5 to 15 minutes at a time every week. And then we're going to report on the vlogs how I'm doing. I need you guys to keep me straight. So the exercise thing's got to happen, you guys, and you guys got to keep me straight in the comments. If I don't mention it next vlog, please ask about it, because chances are I blew it off, right? I'm having too much fun on vacation to go for a walk. No excuse. I need to get in shape, you guys. September's my month to start the exercise thing, and then we're going to step it up from there. Stay tuned to the vlog. Stay tuned to see how I'm doing with that. And also stay tuned to see how I'm managing my weight and my diabetes. So far, so good. See you next week.